如果有人喺阿里巴巴做咗14年，淘寶、天貓、阿里 Pay、阿里媽媽、1688通通做過，你會唔會想知道佢點樣睇2026年嘅跨境電商？今次訪問呢位嘉賓 Jess， 佢係一站式跨境電商 Tangbuy.com 嘅創辦人。舊年佢離開咗阿里巴巴，自己出嚟創業，做緊一盤好多香港嘅 Shopify 買家都會覺得幫到手嘅生意。點解一個喺阿里巴巴做到跨境電商總監嘅人會肯轉換跑道出嚟創業呢？佢究竟睇到啲乜嘢市場變化係我哋普通買家睇唔到呢？原來而家正正係跨境電商入場嘅好時機。喺呢一集，阿 Jess 會拆解佢喺阿里巴巴14年學到嘅3大資金流框架，點樣分辨邊啲工廠真係信譽良好，同埋2026年最賺錢嘅跨境品類。
Many of us would like to know, why should we choose Tangbuy over some other companies, for example, AliExpress or other well-established players like CJ? So these are like very common dropshipping agents, which most of the beginners would like to use, right? So if Jess, you can educate us about this, then we would really appreciate that.
Well, that's a really good question. A lot of people, they are comparing the agents. I think different platforms, they actually serve different kind of stage and different kinds of sellers. For AliExpress, well, some people, they use Deezers as well. It's really good for beginners if you want just to test a few products. But AliExpress, is a kind of resellers. You cannot manage your inventory, and you cannot say, oh, I want to use ship faster or something like that. It's out of your control. But it's perfectly fine if you run some tests. I want quick feedback, quick results, but I don't have time to find a proper agent. And the second kind you mentioned about is CJ dropshipping. Well, it's really well known, and they have their own catalog, and also some of them, they run on that probably a really long time. They're focused mostly for their big clients. They have a lot of enterprise shape size clients with them. So if you are growing size, not many orders, you may not get a lot of attention. Also, there are a lot of small agents, actually. Probably we cannot all name them, but they all serve the same thing, do the fulfillment. But one thing really keep in mind is they do a lot of work in human. So it's manual work. So if your order is, 50 orders, that's fine. But if there are clients over 4,000 orders a day, the system cannot handle. So most of the small agents, they may work for 2 or 3 core clients. So that's how they manage their VIP work. But Tangbuy, as I mentioned earlier, we built for 3 layers. The first one is the system. With system, we want to reduce the manual work as much as possible, because we know a lot of beginners, they don't want to commit a lot on the inventory. They just want to give a try, see the product. And also we have the account manager. So, account manager is really important. You cannot do everything with the machine. You cannot negotiate MOQ. You cannot negotiate the factories with price, because when you get to the growth stage, you said, oh, this product work. I want to see different inventories, different prices. I want to see, I want to do customization. Can you do that for me, right? So in this way, you need human work. Another thing is, I mentioned the warehouse. You want to see the real warehouse, and it can process a significant amount of orders because you are aiming for growth. For the Hong Kong entrepreneurs, actually, I met either in Vancouver or in China. Actually, I see really specialty in them, because when they talk to me, they always have the global vision. They don't want to just, I don't want to just serve Hong Kong. I want to serve the world. At least I want to serve the, the traditional Chinese community all around the world. So the second thing is, I see when they do something, they actually keep brand in mind. It's not, I just want to catch the trend for a very short period of time. They want to have their own brand, especially young entrepreneurs. They born with the brand idea. So that's why I think it's maybe the DNA of your city, but what they are trying to find is trying to find some reliable partners. And then when they get growth, they can go together. So that's why I think Tangbai can provide that experience. And also, I want to emphasize a bit about our service. We don't have the subscription fee, monthly platform fee, so you don't pay us until you place the order. So that's really important for startup, right? So you want to see how your cash flow goes, and you don't want to tie up too much. And also, we have the multi-item, the volume discount. So as low as 10 orders. So if you order 10 pieces together, you get some discounts. So this is most growth stage sellers, their starting point or the stage they are in. So that's good for them as well. We also provide 90 days free storage. In this way, free storage, if you want pre-stock up for a week or 3 weeks, you don't need to pay extra fees. So it's startup friendly. Even your growth stage, you still a startup company, right? So that's why we consider that could work together. And then the good thing is we work on the same time zone, and you can use WeChat or WhatsApp or common communication ways, and that may be suitable for Hong Kong entrepreneurs as well. So that's why I think it's a good way we can work together for the young entrepreneurs in Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they will all look forward to your service and cooperation. So another question is Tangbai a SaaS tool, a sourcing agent, or a fulfillment center?
That's a really good question. Honestly, we are all three of them. The first one we mentioned is SaaS. Well, we built a system, so you don't need to do a lot of work manually. Let's give you an example. We have a tool called AI Smart Sourcing. So when you connect your store, if your store has SKUs, has product, you connect to our platform, and then you get to see our AI to automatically source the factory direct sourcing for you. So after that calculation, you will see the results, whether it's match your product or they have some recommendations. In this way, you don't need to do that manually. Or if you just want to see how the factory direct price comparing to what you price, your sourcing price right now, it's really fast and really easy to use. And then also for the orders, inventories, and tracking, we have the real-time data. And also we build a dashboard so you can check all of your data. And also just before our interview yesterday, our app just get online in iOS and Android app stores as called Tangbai Dropshipping. So it's for, for this day, sometimes you just want to check your data and check the fulfillment process, right? You can check through your phone, your iPhone or Android phone. It's really easy. You don't have to always log on to the computer. We're still updating the app. So in this way, we're building the first layer, the SaaS layer. The second one, I mentioned about the account manager, because as I mentioned, sometimes you want to negotiate price, you want to get a bulk purchase through the account manager. And also the account manager, they are experienced. And then sometimes they can tell you, even for the same item you manufacture in Zhejiang or Guangdong, which part is cheaper. And then because the industrial cluster, the manufacturing hub are totally different. So for instance, you want to source the electronics, you want to go to Guangdong, but that's really the high trend. But if you want to say, oh, I want some old-fashioned ones, they may go to Zhejiang or some provinces in the north parts, because even the same thing, the price may differ a lot. And the second thing is, we also support our account manager with AI tools. We actually build some AI tools for our account managers so they can do service more efficient. They can focusing on service for the clients, and they don't have to always dig data and something like that. So the second layer. The third layer is our warehouse. As I mentioned, we have 40,000 square meter warehouse. Well, it's not outsourced, so we manage the warehouse ourselves. So all the batches will go through our QC with photo report. And the stock up, if you stock up the item, we can finish the process within 2 hours. And if you want to make purchase, we can done the purchase within 24 hours. If you want to do the international dispatch, we done it 96 hours. We manage by the timeline. So the other thing I want to mention about warehouse is actually when we build it, we don't just say whatever size we want to start, because we want to go with some high demand B2C size. So that's why we build it to be scalable. We set the order as 40,000 orders per day. So if your order goes from 50 to 500 to 1,000 orders per day, we can all handle it. So that's a significant difference from you go through some agent to do it manually, because every manual they may hand pack for you, but for the large volume you don't want to get anything into a mistake. So that's why I always talk to a lot of store founders, and I'm kind of telling them, our starting point is using the system to solve their problems. It's not we want to do anything just manually and gradually move to the system, because we design with the system in mind.
So another question from our student is, Tangbai track the real-time data from TikTok, Amazon, and factory production. So how does that actually work?
I want to share some obvious information with you first, and then I want to share some not really obvious information. The first thing is, over the past few years, a lot of sellers, they look at the social media data and they say, wow, this one goes viral. And then this is TikTok viral product. This is Amazon. This is a Pinterest trend. A lot of people see it from the data management or data monitoring softwares or tools. That's one thing you see at the front end. But the other thing is really interesting is we see the trend is shifting. The trend goes probably 18 months probably 2 years ago. A viral product can last 18 months, but now only 6 or to 8 months. That's maximum. So you see they speed up. The second thing we see is actually it goes from region to region. Before, we always see the data just in the US market or some Europe market, but now we see the viral product data goes from region to region. It goes viral in the States, and then after 6 weeks, it maybe go viral in Germany or France. And also possible, they skip Europe totally, they go viral on Mexico. So we see the trend growing from region to language. So we see this is really a good opportunity. As you mentioned, AI helps a lot. A lot of things you do need to translate. You can use AI to translate multi-languages. We think it's especially an opportunity for Hong Kong entrepreneurs. They can take the advantage because they are flexible and they have global view. They can see the trend. So if you get to see the trend, maybe in the US or in English, you may want to test it in French or in German or even in Korea and so on. So I think that's a really good opportunity. So that's why we're monitoring the social media data and see that's an opportunity. The second opportunity is that, as I mentioned, you always have a factory to make the product, right? So the factory data is also very important. It's from my background. So I get access to those factory data and we get to see the monitoring. Also, we have good connection with a lot of factories. Here I want to bring an example. So I'm not sure whether you can see it. This is a phone holder. The phone holder can put on the car. You can just stick it on your car. But it's really interesting is you can just take it off. It's just a 2-piece phone holder. So we get to see this kind of new products. This one is booked. You are going to see it in Amazon in a couple months. Yeah. So we get to see this new data from the factory side. Because of our connection with the factories before. So that's another opportunity. And also we combined it with our warehouse fulfillment data. Some data, we combine them together and then push that into our trend, what's hot in sale and data like that. So our clients, our sellers can get some inspiring their way to find winning tools, because they may get to see this phone holder. Oh, I may try to find some other, variants or some variations that I can test it out. So that's why we combine all of them together. And also I mentioned about our Smart Match. The Smart Match is also a really interesting tool, because a lot of new store owners coming to town buy, they may get the total idea whether we can collaborate, but they can link to our store. They just check whether the sourcing price comparing to what they have right now. A lot of them, they see 20 to 30% discount from the factory price. So they really get, oh, I just leave so much margin on the table. I can just justify, make it, the sourcing price get lower. So that's how we see the combination with just the trend, as well as our data capability, as our connection, as well as our AI tools.
So given that there's a student who is very new, right? Imagine that he's only got $300, okay? And he's very fresh. He has got no experience. Do you think, Jess, you can walk us through how Tangbai can help them find their first winning product?
Well, let's say $300. That's just from the supply chain side. We go through the whole process. The first one, you need to register, and then you register the account, log in to Tangbai. It's totally free, no subscription fee, no monthly payment, so it's free. And then he can connect to yours. He can connect to the store. Well, there are two things. If he has something in his store already, for instance, he has published some products, we can use the AI Smart Match tool, so he can see how the factory price is. The second thing is, if he doesn't have a clue, have idea, he can use the winning tool I mentioned earlier. He can check what's going on, what's hot, and it's from US market, can test it in Germany, France, or UK, some other markets. So give him some ideas. So if he made up his mind, I want to have this one, but I want to see how much cheaper I can get, he can contact our client service, our account manager. We have the tool to see our account manager, because it's a beginner. So we may work them through how to set the price. There are several things they need to consider. The first thing is the product cost. The second thing is international shipping, because you want to do one country or you want to do 3 countries. There are different regulations, and it needs to be calculated ahead of time. And third thing is, they may just discuss with our account manager about the ad cost, because our account manager, they may give a rough idea how much you may need to spend on your ad. The third thing is, you need to consider refund allowance, probably 3%, 5%, because the difference from category to category, right? And then we have 5 RMB, probably 0.7 US dollar processing fee for each order. So you need to calculate ahead of time. So that's the whole calculation. And then you get to see the real contribution margin look like, whether it's work or not. You may get something, well, it sounds really, really cheap price, but you need to spend a lot on the advertising because the competition is too heavy. In this way, this product may not work, but some may work. I always recommend beginners to have an account manager to talk to them, to discuss a bit. You get a second opinion. Maybe some of them, they have their coach, but some of them, they don't. So they get a better idea which is the price work and whether it is competitive or not. And then the first step always recommend beginners to do is order a sample. Ordering a sample is you can order it from our website. You just want one piece shipped to my place. A lot of people, they say, whoa, I trust my account manager. I don't need to order it. The good thing for beginner, you order a sample because you want to see what the real thing is. You get to feel the entire process. And then you can take a photo of the product as you like, and then you send to AI. Make me more creatives. And then you mix it with other videos, maybe make more creatives and test around. It's better to do that. You get the total control of the product. If everything gets to set, you say, oh, it's okay, ready to go. I want to set my drop shipping. You set up the drop shipping, and then for the next, when your store get an order, we order for you from the supplier and get to our warehouse. It goes through our QC check to see whether everything is fine and the surface, no scratch and no other problems. And then we ship out as the shipping line you designed with your account manager. So in this way, you know, oh, actually there's a real product on the market, not someone just from resale. Well, from the entire process, I would say it wouldn't cost more than $100 when you finish your first trial or first couple trials. You go through the whole process, and then probably you get another $200. You want to save $150, $180 to test your creatives, and then you save some money to buy some different themes you want to test out to see the conversion rates. So that's why I would break it to 3 parts. Just 30% just for testing the product, not too expensive. Just manage it with $100 less to go through the whole process. You want to get through the whole process. And then you get $150 just to test because you want more creatives to see whether the market accepts it and which angle you want to position your product. And then you have the left money to modify the theme of your website. So that's how I would say. I think it's really important. It's not just the money per se. It's not $300. It's not a big amount. But, you know, at the end of the day, nothing matters more than just get started. I have seen a lot of students, they learn a lot of knowledge and get a lot of courses, but they just don't start their own store. I think it may happen for someone, they have, you know, the urge to learn, but because they don't try it out, they keep missing one opportunity to another. So the money is just one side, and then starting is more important. I think MC, you may have the same perception as well.
Yes. A lot of our students, when they first started, they think too much, okay? They just want to study all materials first, just like when they are,
exactly.
you know, a high school student or a uni student, okay? They study everything to go to the exam, right? But what they don't realize is this is business, right? This is no longer academically. This is not academic, okay? We don't study to win, okay? We learn and practice by working on something, right? So this is the difference between studying and working, right?
Exactly. So, that's the practice.
Yeah. Okay. So next thing, we would like to go through some branding and scaling up questions, okay?
Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
So Jess, how does Tangbai support the full journey from generic dropshipping to building a real brand? Can you give us some insight?
Okay, this is kind of serious seller. They would think that ahead of time. From our experience, we break out to 3 stages, and then we don't get to branding at the beginning. Well, the first stage I would say is testing. For the students, maybe 0 to 100 orders per month. So probably 3 to 5 orders per day. That's what I call testing. The goal is you want to find the winning product, which one works, which one doesn't, and which one is profitable. And you don't need to think about the branding at this stage because as a beginner or as you just started, you don't get a clue what the market is like. So as I said, we may have the sourcing tools. You can order some testing products, and then you get the one-on-one account manager to get the product analysis, pure drop shipping model. We don't need to go too deep on that. In this stage, I don't recommend to go a lot of custom packaging, custom labels, custom everything, because the product does, if the product doesn't sell, the branding wouldn't save it. If the product doesn't work, it's not help just dressing the app. So I see a lot of mistakes, a lot of students they make in the first start. They want to start everything big. I want everything to start big. No, as you said, it's not academic. You want to get in practice. And the second stage we always see is from $100 to $500. So probably 5 to 20 orders per day. And in this way, you have passed the test. Oh, this one may work, and I can start a bit scaling. In this way, you may start building some brand signals, but not overcommitting. Maybe you want to get some low MOQ packagings like inserts, thank you cards. And also in this stage, I see a lot of experienced sellers do one thing is do the bundle. They put multi-items together. So for instance, one of our clients, they do the to cure the pimples, and they have the lotion, they have the cream, and then they also have the towel to wash the face to make it wash clear. Obviously, they are not from the same supplier, right? So they ordered from different suppliers. We pack them together and then put thank you card. And even she didn't do a lot of on the outside the box, but the clients still think, wow, that sounds like a brand. Tell me how to do the entire process. So that's good enough for her. And then it still grows. So it's really decent. And then increase the AOV and also increase the repetition rate. So in this way, our system actually designed to can suit this situation, multi-suppliers, you can use them and make it into a bundle, because we realize for the growth stage, you need to go to increase AOV stage. That's really important, because when you get an ad, it's $20 per customer, you want to sell as much as possible. And then the third stage we would say is kind of scale. You may get more than 500 orders per month. So that's more than 20 orders per day, which means your strategy, your scaling strategy work. And then you just need to get more cash flows going through the entire process. So that's real branding infrastructure you need to think about. You want to have the customized package. You want to have the exclusive SKU. Even for you, EU, you want to see the compliance support, because in some categories it's regulated. So you need to think about it, like CE markings, product category certifications, something like that. It's extremely important before it gets scaling, because either of them, they get breakdown. That really hurt your business. So most successful D2C brand, I would say, is they start thinking branding when their orders over 100 orders per month. Before that, they wouldn't commit too much on the branding. They may commit something in the website design, but not the physical part, because it will tighten up your cash flow. Obviously, for sure, you want to customize, you need to pay extra money. Of course, it can bring your brand awareness, but you have to see whether it's worth it or not. But you have to keep in mind, you need to do some branding before it's too late, because it may help, it has to help you with the repetition purchase rate, because they realize as a brand that you can trust it, especially when people do cosmetics, when they do some daily use products, they want to see the repeated purchase rate goes up or keep maintain at a certain level. So in this way, they really need to think about it, but don't think about it too early.